the gap between, personal and professional usage of AI tools, highlighting, how far behind the industry is, and using that to sort of say, see, like, you really are behind, and therefore if you sorted out your data and actually had something to work with here, we could start to do some pretty exciting stuff too.
But I think that is what's driving it. I think AI has been around for much longer than Gen AI has been around, but there's like AI literacy is still very low, and like ChatGPT has made it much more accessible to everyone. And so I think that's almost the way that everyone now thinks of Gen AI. So that's why, like, as we've seen this in the startup world as well, we were actually in Silicon Valley just in April, and the number of startups that we met where AI is a component of it, but it often still is just a chatbot element. And I think that's where in the reinsurance industry, we're also seeing quite a lot of external like posturing around, we need to show that we've got AI capabilities, so let's launch a chatbot co-pilot alongside our new underwriting platform. But if you talk to people in the industry, it's not actually quite as effective at generating kind of new underwriting ideas or helping you develop new products, but it's essentially a replacement for a human chatbot that you can ask questions to, because it's almost like from a personal level, I can see, understand and engage with that. But there's a lot more fundamental work that reinsurers could do internally to make their data easier to access, convert unstructured to structured data, drive operational efficiencies. That's where there's going to be quite a lot of value, and develop new product ideas too.
So are you thinking of like an AI agent kind of approach is what a common sort of use case at the moment?
That is kind of, if you talk about hype within a hype, that's where we're at. So agentic workflow be what everyone's talking about, that type of stuff. And really what you're talking about there is you're stitching together different competencies, capabilities into something that then is interacting with a part of a workflow or a human. And that is, to my point earlier, of how do you stitch together multiple different elements of AI, including Gen AI. That's how I think you're really unlocking competitive advantage as an enterprise and as a business and organization in reinsurance, as opposed to unlocking the personal productivity of your staff, which I think are two interesting ways to think about it. Because then you're able to separate, right, how do we retain, attract, keep the best people, because they want to be able to use safe tools. We haven't talked about safety and controls, but we should do at some point. And also at the same time, make sure that, in our decision making and how we rate things, all that kind of stuff, we're making the most of, I think you said in the last episode, right? Like there's potentially a lake of data there for us to drown in. This is technology that can help us actually make that intelligible and activate that data. But I think one of our challenges with that, and I think this is why the agentic piece comes in, is there's elements of that logic that should be reused across use cases. You can do that with that type of architecture, agentic workflow architecture. And you maybe have something that's dealing with NatCat, you've got something else that's dealing with currency, you've got all these different things. And there, 3 of those for one agent might also be 3 that support another agent. And you create this underlying logic and basically, rationality that's sitting within your organization, now codified. And I think that's a really interesting way to start thinking about it as an enterprise as well.
Yeah.